sit and chat with me whilst I tell you about all the mistakes I made when I first reverted to Islam. Okay, my first one, I actually said I would take this to the grave. So, well, originally I took my shahada on the phone, and then I went like 3 months after to get my shahada certificate. So I went to the masjid and I retook my shahada, and then it was in like a group setting, so all of the sisters were coming up to me, they were being so nice, they were hugging me, saying congratulations, and then naturally, without even thinking, silly old me tried to hug the imam. Bruh. Luckily he laughed, and he did say it was not the first time it had happened, so you know, Alhamdulillah. Okay, when I was like very early on to having reverted, I can't lie, it took me so long to pray, by the way. Like, I'll get into that another time. It took me so long. But when I first really started, I'll be so real, I don't know what I was doing. I definitely didn't understand what a rakat was, because I remember learning that and being like, oh. But I was praying crazy amounts, like, you know, Alhamdulillah. I remember it would take me like half an hour to pray, and I was like, damn, this is long, like this is taking up a lot in my day. Like I was like, I can't do this 5 times. But I remember telling one of my friends that it took me half an hour to pray, and they were like, that's not normal. And I was like, yeah, I'm just learning. They were like, no. This is an interesting one. So I went to a Palestine charity event, and this was right before Ramadan, so I was kind of like, I was in the swing of things then, and I bought an abaya set, and it came with like, I don't think it was hijab, but it was like a scarf. I was meant to bring it, but just for an accessory, because like we wouldn't be praying or anything, so I was like, why would I need to bring hijab? Anyway, the speaker at the event starts reciting Quran. I literally watched every single sister in the room, and I was like, I'm not even joking, I was the only one out of the whole room, and I just sat there feeling like so stupid. But then I told the girl who I was with, and Alhamdulillah, she was so sweet. She like shared her hijab with me, and we were both under the same one, and it was really cute. But now I know, if I'm going to an event, always bring a scarf. Oh, I've got 2 ones to do with like going to masjid, going to mosque. So firstly, I didn't understand that they were like segregated, separate entrances, so I just walked straight in. First entrance I saw, bunch of men. When you make like mistakes in Islam, maybe not on TikTok sometimes, but genuinely everyone who I've met in real life has been so nice, and they've just educated me, especially when they find out you're a revert. Being a revert is low-key having a bit of a free pass sometimes. You just say I'm a revert and they're like, oh, whoa. Oh, I feel like literally every revert can relate to this. Just like wudu, like genuinely having like no concept of what that was. Like I was so confused. As per, seems to be a common theme. I didn't know like there were actual steps. I was kind of just getting in, washing my hands, splashing my face and being done. And then also I was making wudu every time I ate, every time I drank, every time I'd have a wee. So yeah, let me know if you've like made any silly mistakes, because this is a safe space. We can all laugh together. Come with me to visit the Grand Mosque of Paris. Guys, this was so wholesome. It was my first time visiting the mosque with my mum, actually, since I reverted, Alhamdulillah. And yeah, it was a £2 entry fee for tourists, however, free if you were Muslim. The man actually assumed that my mum was also Muslim, and she was like, no, I'm gonna pay. She was like, I cannot lie in the mosque. Guys, look how cute she looked in her little jilbab. She really wanted to come into the prayer room and watch me pray, and then unexpectedly she actually asked me to teach her a few steps of the prayer. We just prayed. I just prayed with my mum. Subhanallah. Yeah, there were these beautiful gardens, there were rooms full of like the history on the mosque, and there was this huge gift shop that everything was in French, so couldn't actually get anything. Thobes, abayas, and these like little children's books with the prophet stories, hadiths, which I was like, low-key I could probably learn from. Then we left and we popped in a few, like, there were more Islamic stores. I've never seen so many books. If they were not in French, I definitely would have picked up some. But yeah, it was just so wholesome. Then my mum refused to take off the jilbab and wore it as a cape all day. I'm currently in Paris with my mum, who is right with her. I know that family and your parents, whether that be them accepting, you know, them coming to an understanding, is a huge part of reverting and the decision to revert, and it was for me as well. So I don't actually live at home. I've lived about 4 hours away from home for a couple of years for university. So when I reverted to Islam, I wasn't living at home, and this has probably been the longest duration of time that me and my mum have spent together since I reverted. And obviously we're sharing a hotel room, we've come away, so she has seen me pray. And I feel like you've learnt a lot this weekend, haven't you, Mum?
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I just thought I'd make a video, ask my mum a few questions, and maybe this will help someone become a bit more open with their parent in terms of, like, reverting. Where are we going today?
We're going to the mosque.
We are indeed. We're going to the Grand Mosque of Paris, and I'm so excited. Okay, Mum, it's been your first time seeing me pray. Have you ever seen a Muslim pray before?
Once in a park.
Once in a park. Okay, what's it been like watching me do my 5 daily prayers?
I thought it'd be difficult, but it's not. I found it quite easy, and it's nice to see your commitment to it.
Does it take a lot of time?
No, not at all.
Is it disrupting our day?
Not at all.
Do you think that I dress significantly different to how I dressed pre-Islam?
Not so much in the day, but in the night, definitely.
Okay.
Because obviously you were in university and you were dressing.
Yeah. Immodestly.
Immodestly.
Mm-hmm. Does it make a difference to who I am?
Not at all. And that, to me, that's the most shocking thing.
That I haven't, like, changed?
Yes.
Okay, bit of a deep one, but what was your reaction when I told you that I had reverted to Islam? Because I didn't tell you until a couple months after I took my shahada. But you knew it was coming, right?
Yeah, you've showed interest for the last few years in the small bit of heritage that we've got.
Yeah.
And I've spoke to someone I used to work with about Islam before, so I always knew that it was another side to what the media shows.
Yeah.
Peaceful, loving, and I've seen that come through in you in the last few
Oh,
months.
Alhamdulillah. Would you say that you have learned a lot more about Islam? I know that you have. She'll see a hijabi on the street and be like, Assalamu alaikum.
I'm going to work my way up to I want some more understanding myself.
Yeah.
To feel confident.
What new words have you learnt this trip? Come on.
I won't pronounce them correctly, but...
Okay. So...
Saban.
Yeah. Go on.
Mashallah.
Saban...
Allah.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
I'm a bit slow on learning, but I will.
No, I think you're good.
Wudu.
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 Yes. No, go on. What can't I do after I make wudu?
You can't pass wind.
Guys, on a more serious note, I was absolutely terrified to tell my parents. And obviously, Alhamdulillah, I've been very blessed to have such a supportive mum. And I know everyone's situation is different. However, 99% of the time, it is scarier in our head than it is in real life. And my mum definitely had questions at first. She definitely held a bit of prejudice from what she saw in the media, and that is completely fine, because as you can see, she's very accepted now, alhamdulillah, and she has learnt a lot. You know, if you've just told your parents and they haven't had the best reaction, that's okay, neither did I, but things get better. They always get better, inshallah.